Hold on, my computer's being really slow. Were you talking about the first part of that? Which part was it?
The first part, yeah.
Okay, give me a sec, because there are 4 parts. Okay. Graphic design 1 and modules. All right, so define, that is the first one.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So let me share with you, thank you. Okay, so what I think I will do is put an example on here. So maybe I could get a student's example. I think Chimmy, I remember seeing hers too, and I just had everything there that I was kind of looking for. So I want all 4 of these to go into it. It's going to be on a Google Doc, so I'm going to edit this. Let me edit this. And I'm going to list what I want on here. So on a Google document, please include the following. 1, a list of all the things you love and are interested in. It is also important to include words that describe you and your personality. So things like loyal, outdoorsy, outgoing, those kinds of things. So like, I'll write examples: outdoorsy, outgoing, introverted, extroverted, bubbly, serious, etc. So everything that you can think about that would describe you, and it could be in terms of like your personality, the kind of things you're interested in, all of that. Just like a huge, huge list. I want you to put as much as you possibly can on there. And then, and also consider what other people would say about you. Like, how would friends or family describe you? So that is what I want on the list. And then the second thing is I want you to find inspirational images. Find and screenshot inspirational images of logos you like, as well as photographs that fit those descriptions in your list. So if you're outdoorsy, maybe photos of mountains. If you're more of an introvert, maybe photos of like sitting by the fire or something like that. So try and find photos that relate to those words, as well as any logos that you think would also fit your personality. You can find inspiration on Pinterest for logos, and then you can find awesome images on pexels.com as well as unsplash.com. So those are the 2 things that I want you to put on the list or on that Google document. these are what I want you to consider. So you will do nothing but brainstorm today, no sketching, nothing. I just want a list of words as well as a ton of inspirational images put onto the document. And I also brought up the word aesthetic. Think about what you want your aesthetic to look like, your overall vibe for your brand. So whenever I think of an aesthetic, I think of, let me find it. Because I have a board. Okay, here we go. Let me share this with you. So I'm going to share with you like my branding board for my business, and because I do weddings and elopements. So this is a board that I put together to kind of represent my brand and the overall like vibe of the brand itself. So you can see that these images are kind of related to weddings, and they aren't necessarily always a photo of a wedding, but you can see that that is like the overall aesthetic is very editorial and minimal and clean. So when it comes to the word aesthetic for your brand, you can find photos that relate to the words that you use. So for my brand, I specifically wrote down editorial, which is like, you know, the kind of higher end photos that you see in fashion magazines, very clean and timeless and elegant. And those were the words that I used for my brand. So I found photos that kind of represented that aesthetic or that overall vibe of the brand itself. So did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. You're welcome. And then Madden, no, you are not going back to the logos. I just wanted to answer any questions for missing work. So if, for example, you were missing that part of that unit, I just wanted to kind of explain those assignments again in case you needed to finish them. So if you've already done this, don't worry about that. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions about any of the assignments? Oh, can I talk about the last part too? So number 4. Taya, do you mean like the very last part? Okay, cool. Let me take a look at that. Jane, I will get to your question in just one sec. Let me save this. And I am going to go to modules. And I'm going to go back to the brand guide. And let me share this. Share my screen. I think I'm going to sneeze too. Hold on. Bless me. Okay. So the brand guide, this was just an example that a student did. In the part 2 and part 3, you start designing your logos that you want for the brand guide. And you are going to choose 3 to 5 that you want to have on here. Of course, you know, I want them to fit whatever color scheme you decide on. You do not have to put hex codes down here, but this is kind of the structure that I want to see. So I want you to have your logos at the top. I want you to choose a color palette, and you could do circles or squares, whatever shapes you want, but fill them with the colors that go into your logo. If you only have 2 colors, then just put 2 colors here. You don't have to have all of these. This person decided that they wanted all of those colors, but the amount is totally up to you. The other thing right here, normally I have you pick typefaces and make patterns. You are not doing this part, so don't worry about that. You just need to have inspirational images as well on your brand guide. So all I'm looking for is your logos, the color palette, and then inspirational photos. And I just want it laid out kind of like this, so it's very clean and organized, because when you go to present a brand guide to a client, you want it to be organized and very clear. So I have what you need to include. Be sure to include your main logo at the top, your sub logos, so like the 3 or 4 other logos that you really like, a color palette, and inspiration photos. And then I talk about how to make this in Canva, because I was going to have you use this or make this in Canva, and I should actually put that in here. Okay, so let me go down. You will make this in Canva. And I also have a video of me going over this in Canva that I'll find and attach to the assignment. So let me go back to the questions. So you can do way more logos on there if you want. That's totally fine. I just had a minimum of 3 to 5. And then, yeah, make sure you have this submitted, just because, you know, that does count towards your grade. So I went through and I've only had 12 students submit this. So I just want to go back over it because I want to make sure that the rest of the class knows to do that. But if you go into modules, you can actually find that right here in the design process. Everyone is supposed to do each one of these. So you start right here, start with the first one, go to the second one. This is where you have your sketches. This is where you have your kind of like final design. And then this is where you have your brand guide. So if you don't remember any of this, you can also go to the presentation. Remember, I went over each part through the presentation, and that should help to explain it. But if you're like, wow, Miss Yost, I just don't remember or know what each one of these are, I'm happy to get onto Zoom with you and explain those too, because I really want to make sure you turn those in. Okay. So let me stop sharing. So any questions about that? If you haven't turned those in, you really need to make sure you get those turned in, okay? Because I know that we're going through assignments pretty quickly, and I do try to give a lot of work time for these. But the thing is, if you don't turn in the assignments, they still count towards your grade. And I really want you to get those into me so that you can bring your grade up, right? Because I did grade everything so far except for our typography unit, because I wanted you to be able to see what you were missing. So please, please, please get those in. And if you do have questions about that, or if it's just not making sense at all, I am so happy to get onto Zoom with you and go through it. So yeah. So any questions about any of that? Okay. So I'm just going to go over the activity that I was going to have us do for color theory, and this isn't due until next week. So if you have missing work, don't do what we're about to do until you finish that, okay? But I do want you to pay attention to see how I explain this activity, so that when you go to do it, you understand. So here is the activity that I'm going to have us do for color theory. We are going to do a Zentangle. Have any of you done a Zentangle or heard of it in like art class at all? Okay, so Jane, you did. Yeah, okay, so some of us have, some of us haven't, which is totally fine. If you've never done a Zentangle, it's actually really relaxing. And so I hope that you'll have fun with this. So let me explain how it works. I'm going to show you the assignment for today. let me share my screen with you. Okay. So you'll notice really quickly here at the Unit 3 typography, we just completed that unit and we've been talking about color theory. So I just want to, show you that I have everything graded up to Unit 2.
So is nothing in the typography going to be put on Synergy?
Nope, it is not, because I wanted you all to focus on missing work. So the typography stuff, please get that into me as soon as you can, but that will be on our final grading period. And I have the typography presentation right here as well. So that should help you with everything that's in here. So what we're working on, so what we've been working on for this past week is Unit 4, color theory. We did a color theory note taker where you watched a video and you took notes on what that person was saying in the video. Now what we're going to do is the color theory Zentangle. So this is the most current assignment that I'm giving today. So what this assignment is you are going to demonstrate your understanding of color theory and color schemes by creating designs and using those color schemes in the designs. So we're going to create 3 Zentangles, and each Zentangle will be colored in using a different color scheme. And this was just one that I started this morning as an example. So I'm fine with you putting 3 rectangles or drawing 3 rectangles on a piece of paper. And then you're going to label each one. So I labeled the first one monochromatic and I described it. A monochromatic color scheme is where you have one color, but different shades of that color. So you could have red, and then you could have a lighter version of the red, a darker version of the red. And the easiest way to do that with like colored pencils or markers is to press down really hard for a dark red and then lighten up a little bit on the pressure so that you have different shades of the color. The next color scheme is analogous. And if we think about our color wheel, let me actually pull it up. Color wheel. On the color wheel, and I'll actually put a color wheel on the assignment for us. So we have that saved image as color wheel. On the color wheel, an analogous color scheme is any 3 colors that are right next to each other on the color wheel. So like this orange, this yellow, and this green are all next to each other. So I would use those 3 colors in my Zentangle. Or you could use this blue and purple and magenta, or this red, orange, and light orange. As long as the colors are next to each other on the color wheel, that's all I care about for that. Let me take a look at the chat. You can do it digitally. Yeah, I was going to get to that. So if you decide you want to do it digitally on your Chromebook using like Adobe Sketch or Illustrator Draw, you totally can. Yeah. Okay, I have a billion tabs open, so let me get back to the tab. Here we go. Okay. And then the last color scheme that you're going to do, I didn't have time to finish my Zentangle in here, is you are going to choose colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel and use those 2 colors to color in your Zentangle here. So are those directions pretty clear?
Yeah. What about like, what do we put in the rectangles? Is it just kind of like whatever?
Yeah, so I'm going to get to that part. So it is pretty much like whatever. So a Zentangle is when you, how it works is you create a rectangle or a square, and then you make 3 to 4 of these like wavy lines. You can see here's 1, 2, 3, 4. And inside of each one of those wavy lines, you're going to create some kind of a pattern. And so you're going to want to fill in each one of these shapes with a different kind of a pattern. And I actually have that right here. So we're going to take a look at a little video. And this is just another teacher showing how to make a Zentangle step by step. So if you're like, I don't know, Miss Yost. So this is just her making the square or rectangle. And then you create a pattern in each section. What if the storm ends and I don't see you? So you kind of get the point. I also have, if you are stuck on patterns, like you're just saying to yourself, well, I don't know, I'm kind of stuck, I don't know what patterns to make. There is this video that shows someone doing 100 different Zentangle patterns, and this should hopefully inspire you as you watch them to kind of have a different idea for the kind of patterns that you want to make inside. So I provided that link as well for you right here. And then I wrote out the directions in case you're one of those people that you just prefer to read directions. So on paper, draw 3 rectangles. These will be your 3 different Zentangles. Label your first rectangle with monochromatic, label the second with analogous, label the third one with complementary. And then once again, I put another how to create a Zentangle video right here. And then you're going to color each of the labeled Zentangles using the color scheme that is under it. And then you're going to take a photo and upload it here to turn it in. So let me stop sharing my screen. And then you can do black and white outline and then color it in. Yep, that's totally fine. And do we have to define the type of scheme when we label? So like if you want to do like red and green for complementary, that kind of a thing. Oh, okay. So opposite colors. So that color scheme would be complementary. So yes, you do have to label each one. So for example, I have right here monochromatic, and I am going to color this in with the monochromatic color scheme. So yes, you do need to label each one. And I'm only going to make you do 3. So monochromatic for the first one, analogous for the second one. Remember, analogous is when you have 3 of the colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. And then this one, imagine a Zentangle in there. This one is going to be complementary, which is the colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel. So yes, I want it to look just like this, where you have it labeled, and then you will put the Zentangle in it and then color it in with those color schemes. Does that make sense? Is the label complementary? You don't have to put the description like opposite colors on the color wheel. I just put it there for you so you can refer back to it, but you just have to put the name. Yeah, sorry. I know it's hard when I can't talk to you like face to face. Yeah, all you have to do is put the name of the color scheme. You don't have to define it. Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions? I'm totally happy with you doing this online too. So if you want to do this on your Chromebook using Photoshop Sketch or Illustrator Draw, you can do that too. Yeah, totally doesn't matter to me. But that is all I have. I want to make sure that you get in all of your missing work. So don't start this until you get in missing work to me, okay? I just want to make that super, super clear. All right. So if you haven't already, please put your name in the chat box so I can take it for a roll. And then if you don't have any other questions, you can hop off here and get started on missing work or on this Zentangle. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. All right. Bye. Thank you all.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you. Oh, and then Madden, you're having trouble coming up with ideas for the illustrated meaning of words project. Oh, you can look at the examples that I have on there. Let me go ahead and I'm going to update that assignment, and I'm going to put some examples there for you so that, and I'm fine with you using the examples. I just draw them. Okay. And then Jason, you accidentally joined 10 minutes late and forgot to type my name. Oh, that's okay. As long as you put your name in there, that's okay. Thank you. Yeah. So Madden, what I'll do is I'll put those examples up there for you. And then hopefully that should help you out. But I'm going to go into my Google Drive so I don't forget to do that, because I've got a billion tabs open. So let me go into, because I have student examples that are really good for that. Where are my, student work, here we go. I'm just going to make sure I do this while I'm on here with you. Otherwise, that would be bad if I forget. Okay, let me pull it up. Word visualization, there we go. Let me get the link for that. And actually, let me just copy the link and put it into the chat. So Madden, here is the link. Go ahead and click on that and let me know when you have it open. Hopefully the sharing preferences are open for you. Okay, perfect. Yeah, those are just examples and you can totally use them. You're welcome. And then the other thing I was gonna do, oh yeah, I have to put the color wheel onto that assignment for you all so that you can use it as reference. Use the color wheel for reference. And I'm gonna add that. For our most recent assignment, let me take a look. I really should be wearing my glasses. I'm like, can't see anything. Okay, cool. Let me update and save that assignment. All right, cool. Okay. Happy afternoon. Okay, anyone else have any questions or need help with anything? Let me know if any of the missing work you're confused by or need help with so that I can get on Zoom and help you with that, okay? All right, check your grades. Let me know.
Have a good one.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Alex, I didn't hear you.
Oh, I just said have a good one.
Oh, you too. Okay. Thank you. All right.